On this episode of Dating Chronicles, we'll be learning from other couples. This week's couple will be Pastor and Elder Starks. We're going to be talking with them about how they met, how they endured their marriage, and yes, we're keeping in all the bloopers so you can see how funny and fun they are together. Stay tuned.
Even through the broken heart, the cheating and the lying, my love's still yours, and that's no lying. We were meant to be together through adversity, so I felt the need to let you know that you're
Dating is hard, and dating as a minister is even harder. Through 2 broken marriages, plenty of heartache and pain, my life felt like a Southern soul song. And I promise you, it's hard trying to figure out how to love again. I cried so many tears, and I couldn't figure out who I was. I really lost who I was. But I fought through all the pain, and I decided to give it another try. So I had to transform myself just so I could date again. But you know what? I'm learning my purpose. And I'm learning to love myself again. And I'm seeking to love again. So here's my dating chronicles.
Tell me why, babe, I lie like a Southern soul.
You want to tell them or I tell them?
Listen, I was playing football out in the cul-de-sac with her brother and some old friends of ours, and I asked her to hold I had a Mickey Mouse necklace, because I knew that if she took that necklace home, that would give me grounds to get to the house.
Hold up. Cut. We gotta tell that story all the time. She says, how did we meet? We met.
That's how we met.
We met because we lived in the same subdivision. She said short, not a whole story.
There wasn't
about
nothing
it.
wrong with that, though.
Sure
That's
was.
cute.
I don't like that.
Why?
Story,
Okay, you want to tell another story? When you came to the door, you
that's
took
really
out rent?
not. That's really.
Want me to tell you that?
because
Okay,
that's
fine.
not really how.
No, I'm
we,
gonna tell them that.
That's not
Came
how
to the door,
we
she took out
met.
rent.
We already knew each other. We already knew each other.
Came to the door and what?
She took out run.
Stop! I need this
My parents
on.
at work, she had a bra on, she answered the door. And she took
I
out
did
run.
not
Pew!
have on a bra.
What'd you have on?
I had on a t-shirt.
Lying.
See how people's
I just want to
memories
give
are
you a chance.
warped?
I just want to give you a chance to get your word in that.
Okay, short
So-
and sweet.
Okay.
Can't even get past how we met.
I'll let you tell it.
Yeah,
So once again,
you answer the next question.
Yeah.
so you didn't like how he told the story. So this
you tell
time, you tell the story of how you met.
No?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, we met because we both lived in the same subdivision. We didn't go to the same high school. As a matter of fact, he was already out of high school. I was still in high school. And we met because there was a basketball court that was behind the house across the street from ours. And all the guys in the neighborhood always wanted to come to our door and ask to drink some water from the water hose. So that's really how we met, because he was always at the door asking to get a drink of water.
Do you think he was asking to drink the water all the time because he wanted to meet you?
Oh yeah.
I wasn't thirsty.
Him and
Trying to pay me out to be like I'm thirsty.
You got to be quiet because I'm
I
putting
wasn't
all this in there. I be laughing out loud. Okay. I'm so down with her. So how did you date? Like, did you go different places? Did you stay on the phone all night? What did you do?
All of the above.
everything. Yep.
I would come down to the house.
We were together every weekend. Every weekend. When I ran track and field, and I competed during the summer as well for track clubs.
Check.
So, you know, if I wasn't on the track, then I was with him. So
Right.
we spent all of my free time with him.
And it was meant to be. Cause when she wasn't there, I would still go check on her brothers and sisters and hang out at the house a little bit. But her senior year in high school, we was like always together. Like I would come to the house, do her homework while she did the dishes, or vice versa. I'd do the dishes, and she do her homework, stuff like that.
Now I saw the face that you just made.
So, man,
No, I didn't.
I
I
was
made
saying-
a face. I didn't know
I
I
was
made
saying,
a
that
face. I
Spanish
just
was pretty
thought I
hard
just
back
looked
then.
at it. I didn't know there was a face.
No, but see, that's what happens when you've been married for so long. Like, how long have you guys been married?
I can always tell how long we've been married by how old my daughter is. We've been married 20 plus years.
Wow. And how long did you date?
About 3-4 years, maybe.
It was longer than
You
that.
think so?
Yeah, I was in the 9th grade when we first started talking.
What kind of marriage we talking about?
She said, "How long were we
According to
you
the
trying to
You
say,
said how
so
long-
basically,
According to the
married?
text.
How long were we
according to
dating?"
the Bible, y'all
According
been
to the
married 20
Bible.
plus
How long
years.
No, according to the
dating.
Bible, you've been married longer than that.
No, I
So the Bible, you've been married for a long time.
Yes, ma'am.
According to the world.
Yeah,
I
according to
thought
the
you were
world.
asking how. I thought we answered how long we were married, and
But
then
see,
you asked how long we were
that
dating.
leads to my next question, because you have so many people that don't understand the process from dating to marriage. What made you decide to want to get married? Like, what made you want to say yes, and what made you want to ask?
What made me want to ask is because when I look at her, I see everything that I wanted in a wife and a mother. You know, and that's key. You know, you can't just take any random person and hope that they're going to be what you think that you see in a mother and a wife. You know, just seeing her, how her mom was, I knew that was going to rub off on her. From cleaning to, you know, everything else, whooping and cooking and everything else. She was a very meticulous person. So when I envisioned my wife and being married to my wife, those are the things, those are the qualities I saw. And, you know, loving her was a bonus and a plus, because that's what I did, you know.
And what made you say yes?
Well, aside from the fact that he chased me, no, just teasing. Well,
I'm chasing now.
well, he was by the time we got old enough to even consider marriage, because of course when we first started dating, I was only 16 years old, but he was the only person that I knew, and I was comfortable with the relationship that I had with him. I wasn't looking, you know, for anything else. So by the time I got out of high school, we were already talking about, you know, what it would be like to be married and what it would be like to have kids and raise a family together. So
And all our friends were already couples.
yeah, we had a lot of friends that were older than us that were already living together or married. Most of our friends were in their early 20s, early to mid 20s. So
Plus, it's better to marry than to burn.
So, do you think it's different dating now than it was with you guys?
Totally
Do you think
different.
that makes a difference with the way couples are getting divorced so fast now?
Totally different. Number one, couples today, they want to do everything else. They want to book the venues. They want to go get the cake. They want to pick out the ice sculptures and get the dress and the little shoes and the little colors. The last thing they want to do is call the preacher. They don't want to get premarital counseling. And I think one of the things I do when we counseling couples, the first thing I do, pull your credit report. Because I don't want to hear you saying nothing about, honey, if I had known, then sugar, I wouldn't. No, we're going to get this straight, and it's going to be right all the way through. In terms of dating now and dating then, it's way different. Way different. Way different. Because when you in today's game, you know, you 6 degrees from separation. You see very few weddings because everybody know everybody. You ain't gonna be able to get away with nothing, you know. And so, but back then, you know, you were in a place where you had to do things to actually date. You know, you had a date night. You went out, whether it be dinner and a movie, whether it be I don't know, just going just Netflix and chilling. Now, it's totally different. Now they just want to stay on the phone and look at each other.
Yeah, that's true.
And that ain't getting it.
That's true. So what would you say to a couple that's getting ready to give up? Like, because I know you weathered the storms, you went through the struggles, getting married and having kids and bills and situations. What would you say to some of these young couples who don't know what to do right now?
Trust in the Lord with all thine heart. Lean not into thy own understanding. In all of thy ways acknowledge him, and he will direct thy path. Him not being your daddy, him not being your best friend, him being the Lord up above. What would you say, baby?
Well, I would say having patience, understanding that, it's a covenant, and that you enter into a covenant not just with the person that you're marrying, but it's a three-corded covenant with the God, the person that you are, and the spouse that you're marrying. So, you have to make sure that even when you're having hard times in your marriage, that you can put the focus not just on the other person, but that you make sure that you do everything that as a Christian, especially everything that to do to say that you've given your all to the marriage. Because like you said, there are a lot of people in this generation that really, really check out so easily. It's so easy to say, we'll get a divorce and actually follow through with it. But when you have a marriage, you have to be willing to do your part. Do your part in prayer, do your part in fasting, do your part in covering the marriage. If you have a bad marriage, but you haven't been praying concerning your marriage, you haven't been fasting concerning your marriage, you haven't been spending time praying for your spouse, asking God to develop those qualities in them that you hope to see, then have you really done all that there is? Mm-hmm. Can you truly walk away from it saying that that you did all that there was for you to do and that the marriage was just irreconcilable? You have to do that self-inventory check with your own self.
I like what you just said, and I think there are a lot of couple that are even getting ready to go into a marriage who don't realize that it's going to be hard.
It's going to be hard. The word says that the two shall become one. I don't know how easy it is to take something that exists on its own singly and make it become one with some other individual that's existing on their own singly, and then bring them together to think the same way, talk the same way, be the same person in the spirit realm, and you have to know. That's the reason why the word says it is not to be entered into unadvisedly. But, you have to have some godly counsel. You have to have an example to look to. You should have someone in your life that has, that has modeled a good marriage. And when we say good marriage, we don't mean perfect marriage.
Because ain't nobody perfect.
We say good marriage in that, they chose to stay together, not through abuse, not through these things that should make a deal breaker for you. You know what I'm saying? If you're dealing with physical abuse, mental, verbal abuse, then that's another kind of counsel you need to seek out. Yeah. Because it's not God's will for anyone to deal with abuse. That's not what marriage was designed to be. That's right. But there are things that we get divorces over that are so trivial to God, over finances, over how we should raise our children, because you have blended families, divorcing over belief systems, being unequally yoked. One is a believer, the other one isn't. These are things that counseling brings to the forefront. The values that you were raised with. What do you believe about money and how you save and how you spend it?
And there's
all of these things.
Period. There's an adjustment period, and that's going to require some kind of compromise. But even with that being said, it's what you make it. Mm-hmm. Just like life, just like college, it's what you make it. And so if you want to put together the energy and make sure the same energy that it took, it's amazing. If people would use the same energy they used in dating, to get that person, when they get married, to keep that person, everything will work out just fine. But as soon as they get married, they forget how to open car doors, what date night is, just the things. And even, and just being honest and transparent. I've even had to remind myself, and she's even had to remind me, hey, these are the things to get me, buddy. Hey, man, so you got to just come on in. And that happens with everybody. Don't ever get so comfortable when you don't think that you can't be replaced. Because you can. Everybody's replaceable. But with the help of the Lord, hopefully everybody stays together.
Mrs. Tony Nixon, y'all.